Namaste everybody. I hope that you have studied and seen the chapter what we were supposed to read. The chapter is something which you have studied in grade 8. It's only a bit part that we are going to study this time in grade 10. That is between 1920 and 1930. Before I start, let us recap as to why we had to struggle for our freedom. Why this concept of nationalism came up in India. The reason was that the Britishers who had come to India as traders, they took our country and made their own. So they were like uninvited guests to our country. And that led to too many of situations that arose in India, which we can study as creating a political imbalance in the country by removing all the old monarchs, the kings, and replacing them with themselves. Social, they created a new kind of society which they thought was good for them, but it was in their eyes it was something that was outdated. Economic situation. A country which was called as Sone ki Chidiya, a golden bird, became a country where only you had people with economic downfall, industries closing down, people having no income, nothing, and instead of for us being a giver to the world, we became the takers. These all situations led for us to have that we need to get our country back, and that feeling of nationalism came in India. And that is how unity in the process led to freedom struggle. This situation now what we are talking about is not going back, but the situation in the beginning of the 19th century. And the situation is World War I. World War I though happened in Europe, but the problem was the impact was felt in India itself. We as a country, though we did not participate in the war, but we were there as an invisible people who were fighting the war for our colonizers. What was the impact? The impact was you had a new economic and political situation created in the country. The new economic political situation in what sense? In sense, all our money that was collected by these colonizers as taxes, which should have been utilized for our growth and development, was used to fuel their expenses to meet their war needs. What did they do for that? They increased the taxes. Taxes in the form of custom duties, and something new which we now see is in the form of income tax, which you and me pay today also. Another important thing that they started to do, because they had less people in their own population, in their own country, they needed the war to be fought. Who will fight for them? People from India, so there was a forced recruitment. And forced recruitment of which people? Most of the India was an agrarian economy, so whole of the population was living in rural areas. So people were forced, who were the farmers, to go and fight for their masters. What will be the impact? You are taking out the farmers from the areas which they can till, and that led to shortage of food. Shortage of food was also marked with natural disasters and calamities that led to crop failure. So on two fronts, we had food shortages. One, because farmers were taken away, you did not have farmers to produce your product, and you had crop failure. So all these situations had an impact on India's economic and political situation. Now, if you can zoom here and see, we have seen all the situations, and we are in a phase where we are in the ending of our 1919, that is the World War I ending. And there is a new person arriving on the scene. And the new person is Gandhi. Gandhi was a person who had studied in India but went abroad for higher studies, went to South Africa, saw the situation there, the apartheid, the same struggle those people were facing, and ultimately he decided to come to his motherland to help us come out of this situation. So in this flowchart, if you see, Gandhiji, unlike the radicals or the moderates, carried his own set of weapons. And those set of weapons were the satyagraha, that means truth, the power of truth, whatever may be the truth. Follow the truth and you will be able to defeat your enemies. And another one which he truly believed in was ahimsa, non-violence. So two weapons which were his master stroke were satyagraha and ahimsa. Arrived in 1915. He was at this period of time a solo person, did not join any of the political associations that had started in India, and the only political association which was strong in India at that period of time during the moderate period was the Indian National Congress. In short, we call it as INC. He did not join it. He made on his own. And what did he do? Between 1916 and on 1918, he followed with his weapons of satyagraha and ahimsa. This topic which you are seeing here, it's not only important from the point of view of writing an answer, which can come as a 3-marker question, but important from the point of view of map pointing. So these things have to be marked in your map. Remembering in this way will help you to locate an area and mark them. So you start with remembering the area and the state it belongs to. It becomes easy for you to remember. Now let's see the sequence of events, what happened. He arrived in 1915, set up his ashram at Sabarmati, Gujarat. 1916, he went to Champaran, an area located in Bihar. What did he do there? He helped these farmers who were forced to do indigo plantation. Indigo is a color which is used in dyes, and that was supplied by Americans. But due to World War I, the indigo supply from America discontinued. So all countries looked for another source of supply, and they found that people in India are ready to grow them. But these people, the peasants, did not know what is going to be the after impact of growing this. They are caught in it. So he helped these farmers to come out. That means the Britishers cannot force them to grow indigo. Next he went to 1917 to a place in Gujarat called Kheda. What did he do there? All of you have seen movie Lagan. Lagan talks about that we cannot pay taxes. The reason because there is not enough rainfall. Crop failure is there. How can these people give you revenue when there is no sale? So he helped these farmers to ask the government to relax the revenue. 1918. Ahmedabad being a hub of industries, basically textile, from the time immemorial, he helped these cotton textile workers to get an increase in their wages. So these three areas, Gandhiji alone helped the people to get what they wanted. And with that, his popularity grew. His popularity grew, and that led to him and being asked by the INC to join. By the time 1919, World War I ended, British government started to hold its noose much more tighter on the Indian nationalist people. Started passing a lot of repressive laws. And one of the laws that they passed was called the Revolt Act. What did it state? It stated that anyone who is suspected to being a part in the nationalist movement can be caught. Caught, then what happens? As we know, the procedure is you put them in jail, put an FIR, take them to the court, let the court system judiciary decide, and then the judgment is passed. But no, that was not the case. The case was you are caught without a trial. You are put in jail for next 2 years. And that is what bothered people. And there were 2 people in Amritsar, Mr. Kichlu and who was the other one? Who was the other one? Nobody remembers? Satyapal. They were caught. And that led to people becoming more angry about it. And people repressed against it. Gandhiji was not allowed to enter Amritsar. He was stopped. This period of time is a month of March. So it's April. And there is a festival of harvest season called Baisakhi. Because of the Revolt Act, people becoming too aggressive, there is a clamp on people getting together at one place. And this led to there a hartals, clamping down, and a curfew. In a curfew is a situation where you cannot do an assembly or you cannot collect people. But the irony of the thing was, people around Amritsar, the village, they did not know that such kind of law has been imposed, that curfew has been imposed. And they just came to enjoy the festival of Baisakhi in a place called Jallianwala Bagh. These people came in the Jallianwala Bagh. General Dyer, who was the police in charge for that area, came to know. And he said, how could they come and assemble there? And without warning these people to disperse, he closed one single entry of the park and started firing them. When asked why did he kill all those innocent people who were not only men there but women and small children, he said he wanted to create a moral effect. And moral effect in what way? That people are really scared of breaking a law. A situation which was not welcomed by any of the nationalists. Rabindranath Tagore at this period of time had got an award for his book called Gitanjali. He was honored. And in that honor, because he had received a Nobel Prize for it, the British government also had given him a knighthood, which he started and gave it back. This led to other nationalist people also giving away the titles which the Britishers had given, and decided upon by the INC that we will launch a non-cooperation movement, which means we will not cooperate with the Britishers. We will boycott all their things, foreign goods, everything will be boycotted, and we will see that nobody listens to the Britishers. Now at this period of time, Britishers had a policy called as divide and rule. They had applied this policy every time in India. In India at this period of time, the Muslim community was always alienated from the Hindu community. Gandhiji convinced the INC that let us bring this and take this opportunity to bring back the best of the brotherhood between the Hindus and the Muslims. Now, why and what happened? In 1919, when the war ended, the First World War ended, the Allied powers had disrespected a Turkish ruler who is supposed to be called as the Khalifa. He is just like your religious head, which we call as the Pope. So everybody in the world who is a Christian respects the Pope. Any disrespect to the Pope means that you are disrespecting the God or that religion. Gandhiji took that opportunity that let us help these Muslim community who are fighting for their respect to the back to the Khalifa. And in India, Ali brothers started this movement called the Khilafat movement. Please be clear about it that there are two words. One is called the Khilafat and another is called the Khalifa. Khalifa is the religious head. Khilafat is a Persian word which means to be against. So, because the disrespect to the Khalifa was given, they started with the Khilafat movement launched by Ali brothers. And two forces, now when combined, can be imagined as today's tsunami, which can wash away whatever the Britishers were doing. And this way, both the movements were launched. So whenever we talk about non-cooperation movement, I would like you that you should always remember that it goes hand in hand with the Khilafat movement. So non-cooperation movement, Khilafat movement are same. It's like two sides of the same coin. So Khilafat and non-cooperation movement was launched, the first big movement launched under the flagship of INC by Gandhiji was non-cooperation and Khilafat movement. Thank you very much. So, this is how for today we have studied how the nationalism in India started, the reasons for it, what was the impact of World War I, because we will be only studying between 1920 and 30, and the Gandhiji coming, launching his three movements and the non-cooperation movement. That is what the section 1 talks about. We will carry it forward in the next class. Thank you very much.